Hi, welcome to Clojure Inc. Today, instead of a toy test problem, I'm going to be solving more of a semi-real world problem that I came across and have come across before, will come across again, so I'm going to try and develop a solution. I've got this website, Sell More Insurance, and it's all about how I, as a software engineer, can help you sell more insurance because I've done a lot of work on insurance company software. A friend of mine put this website together actually on Weebly. Weebly is nice. Weebly's a tool that lets you click and drag together a website very easily. They host a website for you, but pretty quickly I find myself wanting to make other changes, get into the code, do things that Weebly doesn't allow. So they've got an export function, and I took advantage of the export function to download their code. And what I find when I download it and try to run it is the archive that I end up downloading, it's got some broken links, it's got some broken images, it's got some things that aren't quite wired up correctly the way they should be. So I want to fix those things. I want to go in and go through the HTML. And since I work in Clojure, I want this HTML to be in a Clojure format. I might as well switch it over to Hiccup and start working with the website in Hiccup so that I can do the processing on vectors and maps and use my usual Clojure tools. So that's where I found myself. I wanted, as I've done before and will again, I wanted to convert some HTML into Hiccup so that I could use it in Clojure. There's actually a few different websites on the internet that'll convert HTML to Hiccup. I like this one, and it's developed by a European gentleman who has made the code available on GitHub. So I'm gonna go ahead and download it and run it and try to use it for evaluation purposes. And what I found in pretty much all of these libraries and tools that convert HTML to Hiccup is they work pretty well. But one thing they all seem to miss is if the HTML has style attributes, it will be represented in Hiccup as a string rather than as a map of CSS attribute to style. And this is going to break Reagent. Reagent doesn't handle that. So I'm going in the library to see if I can fix that. I already had some of this code from a previous project where I needed to turn the CSS strings into CSS maps so that I could use them in Reagent. So I'm just going ahead and I found the part in the code that is traversing the DOM tree and handling all the different node types, handling the attributes, and we just have to switch up this handler of any attributes so that it does a little special case for the style attribute and parses the CSS string as a map of CSS styles. And I'm just dropping in the code now that I am already using on one of my other websites. It does a very quick and dirty parsing of CSS. It works for the types of key value pairs that people tend to put in style attributes. I don't know if it would handle anything beyond that. We'll just get the style attribute, and that's a string. We pass the content of that string into the parse style function, which returns a CSS map that Reagent and React can handle. I'm going to test it on the index.html that comes with the project. Pretty simple, straightforward example of HTML. Just add a style attribute here so it has something to test on and make sure that that should come back as a map now instead of a string. Just a basic CSS attribute in a style tag like you see sometimes. And in the current version, you see it's returning this string as a style tag, which is how it looks in HTML. But that, as I was saying, this is going to break Reagent. There's a React error that happens if your Hiccup looks like that. Okay, so that's what that comes out. Let's print it nicely. Go ahead and pass that into Jet, and yeah, now you see that it's parsed into a map like it should be. So I'll just do this in GitHub real quick because I made some other changes to output at the command line as well. We just want to give the relevant change in the pull request. And that's open now. You can see it on GitHub. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to send me a LinkedIn message if you like what you see or just want to talk about Clojure.